Pot. Now, for years, I have been suggesting to you that marijuana is not good. And I base this on personal information. I've never smoked pot in my life. But I know people who got addicted to it, mentally addicted to it, and their lives crashed hard. And I also know that the THC level of pot is like 25 times what it was when I was in college in the Vietnam era. It's a serious drug you're ingesting into your brain. And if you're doing it every day, there's going to be unintended bad consequences for you. So there's a study presented at the European Psychiatric Association's Congress, comes out of Australia, that is stunning. Okay, this is prenatal effects of cannabis use disorder. 98%, if the mom uses, okay, increased risk of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder on the baby when the baby is born. 94% risk of autism. 46% risk of intellectual disability. Okay? And in Europe, about 4 million people smoke pot daily. It's much more in the United States, much more. About 1% of the population of the EU. Now, here are the countries that have legalized recreational marijuana. Not many of them. Canada, Georgia, Germany, Luxembourg, Malta, Mexico, South Africa, Thailand, Uruguay, and in the USA, 24 states, including and 3 territories in the District of Columbia. So I keep telling everybody, this is not good. Right? This is going to hurt people. And if the moms are pregnant and they're smoking pot or taking the candy or whatever, kids are going to suffer. Have you heard that in the media? Have you heard the media about it? I can't understand why pot is glorified in the media. I could never understand it. In the Vietnam War, I got the hippies and I got the Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young and all, okay. Willie Nelson, yeah, I smoke pot every day. Snoop Dogg, all right, fine. You guys want to do that, you do it. But where is the counterweight? There's no counterweight. So now you got the pot shops all over New York City where I live. Thank God they're not in Nassau County, not many of them anyway. But the kids see this. And a lot of parents use pot in front of their kids. Oh, I think that's child abuse. Joining us now is Dr. Peter Grinspoon. He's a cannabis specialist from the Harvard Medical School. He's up in Boston where he joins us now. So in my analysis, my setup, am I making any mistakes?
Well, what you're saying is true, but it's only part of the story. I mean, cannabis or marijuana does have a lot of side effects and can certainly harm people like any other drug. It also helps a lot of people medically. And according to recent polls, about 93% of Americans support legal access to medical marijuana. So I think, like any drug, you could use it in a healthier way or less healthy way.
But aren't you deflecting, doctor, the real problem? Because with morphine, which is heroin, okay, that helps people. Nobody objects to opiates when you're having an operation or you have severe pain. But why do we always deflect into the medical marijuana area where I don't know too many people who object to that at all if it's done under the auspice of a doctor in a hospital? I'm talking about promoting recreational drug use. And you saw the stats. I mean, they are really frightening to me. Am I wrong?
Well, no, the hard part is we don't really know how dangerous it is with pregnant women. A lot of pregnant women use cannabis because they think it's safe and natural and they think it's harmless. And it works really well for morning sickness. I never recommend to pregnant women that use cannabis because we don't know how safe or dangerous it is. Most likely the smoking of cannabis is what makes it dangerous because when you smoke cannabis, just like when you smoke tobacco, you get dangerous combustion products. But I do, for the sake of fairness, need to mention that there are just as many studies that don't show any problems with fetuses or children if the parents use marijuana. Again, I don't recommend it because we just don't know, but the data is all over the place. And the other point I wanted to mention is it's a very fine line between medical and recreational use. you take polls of people that buy marijuana recreationally, and, you know, 3/4 of them are using it for pain, and 2/3 of them are using it for sleep. So I don't think there's like that clear a distinction between medical and recreational cannabis. Certainly, some people misuse it. There's no question, but I think we had a lot more trouble when it was illegal and the supply was dangerous and people were getting arrested. And you might agree with this. Like, why criminalize something that people were going to do anyways? It was a disaster when we criminalized alcohol, and it was a disaster when we criminalized cannabis. We had 20 million arrests for nonviolent cannabis possession, and if it's legal, at least it's regulated, it's labeled.
But it isn't regulated. It's not regulated at all. I mean, look, where you live in Boston, and you're associated with Mass General, if you go to Roxbury tomorrow, okay, and you stand outside a marijuana clinic that's selling recreational pot, the hardcore heroin fentanyl addicts go in, they buy a bunch of pot, and they come out and they sell it to kids because you have to be 18 to buy the pot. And they're selling it to 14, 15-year-old kids. That's a big, big industry in every urban city in this country. So I think you're being a little naive here. This kind of, I wouldn't put people in jail unless you were a big weight mover of marijuana. But if you're, smoking marijuana or, small beef, I'm not putting you in jail. But I think that the media should be discouraging the use of it, not only because physically the unintended consequences, as you point out, could be terrible, but you got automobiles in every legalized state, every one. Car accidents have gone up. And it's because directly the law enforcement people will tell you there are more stoned people on the highways. So I don't understand this benign, well, maybe it's not that bad, self-medication. I think it's bad across the board. Last word.
Well, it's hard to say how no drug drug use should be encouraged. I think they should ban advertising for cannabis, alcohol, tobacco, and pharmaceuticals. I agree that no drug should be encouraged, but at the same time, we don't want to magnify the harms or criminalize it because that harms people as well. And I think with education, we could really teach people, for example, pregnant women, do not use cannabis if you're pregnant, teenagers.
I'd be great for that if Bobby Kennedy Jr. would put those ads out and say, hey, there'll be public service announcements. Your kid could get autism if you smoke pot during the pregnancy. Scare the hell out of these people. I'm before that, but I know the media doesn't want that. They like pot. I don't know why. I mean, I kind of do know why, but I just think it's wrong. And I'd say the same thing about alcohol. If you're boozing it up and you got, you're pregnant, you're not going to help your kid. You're going to hurt your kid. If you're drinking every day and you're pregnant, you're going to hurt your kid. So stop it. Anyway, doctor, we really appreciate your point of view. Thanks for coming on. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on X. Look for @Bill O'Reilly.